Welcome back everyone to another Psych Reacts video. Today we're doing something a little bit different and we're analyzing one of BuzzFeed's unsolved mysteries. In this video we will be covering the Farnsworth House, which is actually a historically significant location. We're actually covering this because I've actually stayed at this house before overnight with some friends and family. The Farnsworth House is a significant historical location for the Gettysburg battle due to the position of the house and how close it was to the Gettysburg battlefield. With an open view of the Gettysburg battlefield, the Farnsworth House became a sniper lookout position for the Confederates. The Farnsworth House was soon stormed by the Union soldiers, slaughtering the Confederates after the position was found. It is said that the Farnsworth House is still haunted to this day by soldiers from the Gettysburg battle. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump on into this.
During the Civil War, the home was owned by the Sweeney family, but they sought refuge elsewhere as Confederate soldiers took control of the property. The home was just over a mile away from the battlefield and possessed a tall enough structure that made the property an optimal shelter for Confederate sharpshooters who were tasked with sniping Union soldiers as they crossed Cemetery Hill. It is believed that one of these snipers shot 20-year-old Jenny Wade.
So one thing to note is that the Sweeney room is actually still a room today. It's one of the rooms that you can rent overnight or stay in overnight. I don't remember which room I stayed in at the time, as this was like 7 years ago I think that I stayed at the Farnsworth House, but I'm pretty sure it was Sarah Black's room. But the Sweeney room I've actually been in and actually toured. So it's pretty interesting to see how, you know, other people have come in here and toured this place and they've actually made a video on it. Now the attic where the snipers were on lookout, this is actually part of the private tour that my friends and family have been on. I believe for the private tour it was like we rented out the whole house. It was just like my friend, I brought along one friend, my brother came with like a couple of his friends and then their parents, and then my parents came as well. So we've actually been able to stay there. We took the tour of the whole house and it was actually really cool. Like we had a psychic there and also some like tour guides that were like, you know, historically sound and like were able to tell us the history of the area.
As for the snipers who shot Jenny Wade, it's said their spirits haunt the attic of the building where they were posted.
So this is the attic. This is where those shitty sharpshooters were. That woman you killed, by the way, she had a name. Jenny Wade. If you're sitting over there, take a look at this. Jenny Wade, you shot her while she was doing dishes.
A handsome woman.
And what did you do? Killed her in cold blood in her own kitchen. I can't think of anything more disrespectful. I don't know if it was on purpose or if it was because you have the shittiest aim this side of the Mississippi, but you did kill her. Do you have anything to say about that?
So one thing to point out about Shane and Ryan, who are the hosts of the BuzzFeed Unsolved, I wouldn't be talking to ghosts like this. That's just me. I personally believe in ghosts. Do you believe in ghosts? I believe in ghosts. I think they're kind of real. But the way they're talking to the ghosts is kind of disrespectful. And, you know, these were real people at one point. And you shouldn't disrespect history. Like, yeah, it was the Civil War and, like, a lot of nasty things happened around that time. But it's also, like, you know, they were real people. They were fighting for what they believed in. And at the time, they did what they thought was right. So I wouldn't be disgracing people that are dead just because, like, that's just out of respect for me. But also, like, they're ghosts, you know, if ghosts are real, then it's like something can go horribly wrong here, right? But that's just that out of the way. That's just a little disclaimer. I wouldn't really be talking to ghosts like that, but that's just me. What about you? Let me know in the comments below. So psychology has a couple of thoughts about ghosts in general. A couple of these thoughts can lead to ghosts being like a hallucination. It could be unresolved feelings in a person, and it could also be social influences such as like cultural beliefs. So with hallucinations, psychology says that if you experience a ghost activity, then they believe that it could be a hallucination because your brain is playing tricks on you and what you actually saw was not real, it was just a factor of like your brain. Now, the other thing is unresolved feelings. Unresolved feelings could be like you have anger inside of you, therefore like you witness like a scary figure in the corner of your room or like a dark figure walking across your room or something like that. But these unresolved feelings could lead to the brain playing, again, tricks on the person, leading to these hallucinations that are not real. Psychology also believes that social influences can cause someone to believe in ghosts, right? So these cultural beliefs, religion, right? Hispanics have Day of the Dead. Christians and Catholics believe that people go to heaven. There's this whole spiritual belief system in place here for these cultural beliefs and these social influences. And then, of course, social influences could also be like sightings, like ghost sightings. People post on Twitter or TikTok nowadays, but they post on these sites and they're like, "Oh, look at this! Look at this sighting I had of a ghost," and that could lead more people to believe that ghosts are actually real. So psychology doesn't believe in ghosts, but me personally, I'm on the fence. I would say that, you know, ghosts can be real. I just don't know why they would be real, right? So there's my kind of like 2 cents on that. One thing to also point out here from a personal experience is I've actually sat on that bench that these 2 men are sitting on now. The psychic was actually sitting in the chair that Shane is in right now, the guy on the left here. And I was actually sitting on this bench over here where Ryan is. It was actually really cool to see this attic, to see how the house was kind of made, and like they got the stories about the sharpshooter. We got the story about Jenny Wade, who apparently the sharpshooters killed. They are not sure if it was out of cold blood or if it was just an accident. I do remember it being very chilly up in the attic, and it felt pretty nice because the rest of the house was kind of warm. But yeah, the full-on tour was super, super fun, and I would not trade that experience for anything. It was great. So next we're going to see Ryan and Shane use a spirit box to actually communicate with ghosts. So let's go ahead and take a look.
What do you want to talk about? November 23rd.
It's a hot, cool day.
It's pretty specific.
What did it say?
Specific. Did you hear that?
No.
I heard I'm in pain.
So it's actually pretty interesting that they got some feedback on the spirit box that they were using. The first thing that they got back was November 23rd. Now, Lincoln's Gettysburg Address was actually on November 20th, 1863. Now, the Gettysburg Address given by Lincoln was actually after the Gettysburg Battle. Now, this address stated that all men are equal and should be treated as equal. So, the fact that the spirit box brought up November 23rd, which obviously it didn't have like the year date, because if it can communicate with spirits, then they are still like, I don't know, I would believe they were stuck in like their own time. So November 23rd is still like in the same year that they died, right? That's kind of how my brain works with it. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. So it's interesting that the Gettysburg Address is very close to the date that this person mentioned. I'm wondering what the significance is of that for this person that talked into the spirit box, and if there was any other like historical significance of November 23rd that is that I'm unaware of, because I'm not a great history buff. I'm not really good at history, so if there's anything significant on November 23rd around 1863, do drop it in the comments below and I'll definitely check it out. Now, the second thing that was said in the spirit box was "I'm in pain," and it sounded like a woman's voice. Now, could this be the innocent woman that the sharpshooters shot? Could it be Jenny Wade? Or could it be somebody else who maybe got injured during the battle who stayed at the Farnsworth House? Now, there was a lot of tragedy at the Farnsworth House, and there was a lot of bloodshed. So, it's very interesting to hear the words "I am pain," because this leads me to believe that, you know, there are ghosts that were actually still lingering in the Farnsworth House. Let's go ahead and continue listening to the spirit box and see what else it has to say.
Why are you in pain?
Are you bleeding?
What? You realize you're a prolific loser.
Cool. What did it say?
Is that so?
Yes, that's so.
That is so. You are prolifically one of the biggest losers in history, if not the biggest. Well, we're gonna leave. Do you not want us to leave?
Leave?
So one thing to point out again is I would not be speaking to ghosts like this because you never know what they can do to you. But Ryan did call them a prolific loser, and one of them actually responded, "Is that so?" Now, I don't think this is staged because how would they do that, right? But also, I think it's like interesting that they kind of get the response of, is that so? Because it also sounded like the tone was like a little bit pissed off in a way, as if like they were saying like, oh, is that so? Like, that's not true. Like, why are you saying this to me? And also more of like a, like, I don't believe that is kind of like the tone that I kind of get with that. And then at the end, they were given the words leave when they asked if they wanted them to leave. And in my opinion, I would be concerned if a spirit box told me to leave, because that just shows that the ghosts are getting pissed off and they don't want to communicate any further. One thing to point out is that you can also see that Ryan and Shane are both like dressed up in these old time outfits, and they're actually in Union outfits. Now I believe the Confederate soldiers, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe the Confederate soldiers were stationed here. Let me see. Yeah, so the Confederate soldiers actually were stationed here sniping from this house to the Gettysburg battlefield. And the Union soldiers actually stormed the house. So I'm actually surprised that the Farnsworth House people let Ryan and Shane wear these outfits in. Because I think I remember hearing that one of the tour guides said like, oh yeah, people wore like Union outfits and they got picked on the entire night by the ghosts and the spirits. So it's actually kind of interesting. I wonder if it was them that actually came in wearing the Union outfits. Now, when I went through this tour, it's very hard to remember because it was a very long time ago. But I remember the psychic telling us like stories and doing like readings of the area, talking to the spirits, you know, a lot of showy stuff, right? And the historical part of it was actually really interesting as well. So if you are in the area of Gettysburg, which is located in Pennsylvania, then I do recommend that you go check it out. You go tour it. You get a private tour with like your friends and your family. You get the whole house and building to yourself, and the building surrounding it you get to yourself as well. And then they also give you like the private tour, and I think it includes the attic and the basement. The basement is super scary, and you definitely want to check that out. So if you do have a chance, go check out the Farnsworth House in Gettysburg, PA, because it is an absolute blast. And it's actually really surprisingly interesting. But that's going to do it for part 1 of this video. If you did watch and enjoy this video, you want to see more like this one, more unsolved mysteries, more cold cases, be sure to drop a like down below. It helps me out a ton. If you are new around here, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on future videos. But that's going to do it for this one, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!